Hello and a very warm welcome. Thanks for tuning in to News 9 Live. I'm Kabir Naqvi. Joining me here in the studio is my colleague Varghese P. Abraham, and the tensions that are certainly escalating in Nuh and the adjoining areas and districts in Haryana. That's going to be our focus over the next couple of minutes. Now, Haryana has been put on high alert with heavy security arrangements in place. Well, why? This after the Sarv Jatiya Hindu Mahapanchayat called for a Shobha Yatra in Nuh district. The yatra is being held despite Chief Minister Manohar Lal Khattar denying permission for the procession. Now, Nuh witnessed a series of communal disturbances last month that had spilled into its neighboring districts as well. We're talking arson, violence, complete cars being charred, schools that were shut for days on end, and if that wasn't all, proper communal clashes also took place on the ground. Now, according to a police spokesperson, in Nuh, 1,900 Haryana police personnel and 24 companies of the paramilitary forces have been deployed. All entry points to Nuh have been sealed, and the road leading to the Malhar temple has also been closed. Traffic on the KMP Expressway and the Delhi-Mumbai Expressway will, however, continue normally. Now, the state government has suspended mobile internet services from the 26th of August till the 28th of August. Now, ladies and gentlemen, before we expand this particular discussion, and we're also going to be joined by former DGPs and DCP of Delhi as well, let me just tell you what exactly is happening on the ground. There's a proper flashpoint. The VHP wants to carry out this particular yatra, the Nuh Shobha Yatra. On the other hand, you've got the Home Minister Anil Vij and you've got the Chief Minister Manohar Lal Khattar that have categorically come out and said this is not going to happen. On the other hand, the VHP remains steadfast and adamant. This was something they had planned erstwhile as well. And the exact trajectory of the yatra, that was also something that was under question. Now, the flashpoints. Take a look at this. Haryana Police Chief says permission for yatra has been denied in view of the 31st of July incident that happened. And of course, all of this is happening ahead of the G20 summit. The VHP says Jal Abhishek Yatra will be taken out and there's no need to obtain any permission in the first place for such religious processions. Meanwhile, multiple layers of barricading, the visuals that you're seeing on your streams as well, they have been erected at entry points to Nuh and vehicles are being thoroughly checked. Prohibitory orders have been issued in Nuh district. Mobile internet and bulk SMS services have been suspended. On the other hand, this is the collateral damage. Varghese, right at the forefront, G20 summit is happening. Border points have always been sensitive over the last 2 months. But let all of that dissipate. What's happening on the ground in Haryana, especially in Gurgaon, in let's say Nuh, and the demands that have been put across by the VHP not paying heed to what the local administration is saying. How do you think this is going to play out? Flashpoint, do you think we're underplaying the entire situation when we're calling this a flashpoint? Because this seems to be like a full-blown rift, a full-blown clash.
Well, it looks like the state government has given out that instruction saying there shouldn't be any kind of trouble when it comes to the yatra, and at the same time they said it can't be a yatra where a lot of people are going to be there. They in fact asked them to cut down on the number of people who could be on that yatra. Meanwhile, what we understand is that the Chief Minister said that people can go to nearby temples on the yatra route. It can be informal gatherings and not a politicized kind of a gathering, which resulted in the kind of violence that we saw last time. So the Chief Minister is quite clear on that. Of course, a huge number of security personnel have been deployed over here, and the reason over here is only, and the reason for the deployment is only one. Last time, we saw the fact how the entire local administration collapsed when there was violence. It started with the stone pelting during the yatra. You saw guns were made visible, and at the same time, you also did see that there was an effort on the part of some people and what I call these anti-social elements to attack the cyber station. Why that happened? Because again, the biggest theory that was given at that time was that Nuh was emerging as a center for cyber crimes like Jamtara. So security experts had said that at that time they have to go ahead and ensure that they take a look
Right,
at what's
right.
happening. So all these factors together is actually contributing to the situation that you see now.
Absolutely. You know what? We've got the right kind of people on our panel. Joining us on the broadcast is A.K. Jain, former DGP Uttar Pradesh. Very warm welcome to you, sir. And L.N. Rao, former DCP right here in Delhi, in the national capital. I'm going to first quickly go across to Mr. A.K. Jain till we're doing our initial checks with L.N. Rao. Mr. Jain, we've been talking about NU and the violence and the Shobha Yatra for a very long time now. Again, now the Chief Minister has come out. He said no to this Yatra. The Home Minister says that if the Yatra is carried out, well, we've got our people deployed on the ground. But the VHP, the Hindu outfit, says that, wait a minute, we don't even need permission for carrying out this Yatra. Do you think that this is sort of like a recipe for a clash that's coming up? 11 a.m. was the time that was given out for this Yatra to be carried out. What do you think is going to play out? What do you think is happening? You've been learning and reading about the factors at play as well.
It's a very sad step which has been taken by Haryana government, by Haryana CM. I am very clear about it. This Yatra should have been allowed to take place under tight police supervision. SP, DM, DIG, IG, ADG, all the officers should have been asked to remain there. Meetings should have been held before 28th with the representatives of Muslim community, Hindu community, and Muslims should have been asked to cooperate and to support the Yatra. Had I been there as SP, I would have done it. I would have done it personally. I would have talked to all the people of all the communities that this is setting up a bad precedent.
All right.
Now you are giving a message to the country. Now you have given a clear-cut message to the country that if some community, which is 80% of the population, wants that the minority community, 20%, should not be allowed to take out procession, then you can stop it. One should remember that this can be followed at other places also where Hindus are in majority. What precedent are you setting up? What message are you trying to give? You are trying to give message that if you are in large numbers, you can stop it, you can indulge in stone pelting, and then the Yatra will stop, and in future it will not be allowed to be taken up. This is absolutely alarming, and this should not have been done. I don't know who are the people who are advising Haryana CM, HM. That day, SP should have been there. If SP was not there, his senior DIG, IG, ADG should have been there. There is no dearth of officers in Haryana and in all the states. Senior officers are plenty in number. Giving charge of NU to SP Palwal, and SP Palwal is monitoring the procession from Palwal. What is this? You are not supposed to act like this in a state like Haryana. It is your creation. It is the creation of the local police and administration that such a law and order situation has been created. Had I been there, meetings should have been held. The civil defense wardens would have been deployed. Peace committees should have been formed, and Muslims should have been asked to welcome the Yatris. And within no time, the surcharged communal atmosphere of NU and of Haryana would have become absolutely normal. And the need was that it should be made normal. Need is not that you start arresting people, you aggravate the situation further, and then there is communal trouble and other parts of the state. Khap panchayats are taking place, then you keep on. There is no end to it.
Absolutely. You know what, Mr. Jain, I would like to bring in L.N. Rao over here so that you can also understand what his perspective on this is. Mr. Rao, ever since the 31st of July and the embers of this violence spreading across to all the adjoining districts, some of them in Rajasthan as well. And then, like Mr. Jain pointed out, there were Khap panchayats, there were proper clarion calls for war against the Muslims. There was a proper Hindu-Muslim angle to this as well. And today as well, we're learning about a proper Muslim-dominated shanty slum in Gurgaon that was being threatened with proper death threats and posters that had come up. At least 800, 900 people have already left their homes, and that's just one batch that I'm talking about. What is your opinion of what has transpired, what had transpired on the 31st of July, what happened after that, and the renewed calls for this yatra? Today we're sitting on the 28th of August, sir, and this is almost 2 months after that. And this yatra is again, it seems like, going to be carried out. Mr. Jain saying that the word coming from the local administration authority is actually not, in fact, a welcome step in his opinion. What's your opinion? What's your take? Over to you.
Yes, good morning to everyone, to your all listeners. I fully agree with Mr. Jain, and this is, I think that the law and order situation and law and order subject is with the state government, and giving this message that under these circumstances that Hindus cannot be given permission to proceed on that whatever the religious function. That is, I think that is not warranted at all. It shows that we have bowed down with the threats which are possibly from the community of the about 80% of that area, and this is not done because this will definitely putting a very wrong impression, wrong precedent that in other parts of the country also there are some other Muslim communities in lower strata. Then if they want to do something, that they will also not be allowed to do that. We are living in a secular country, and every religion has a right to go ahead with their sentiments and with their possessions, and denying Hindus today for that purpose, because of this violence has been taken place. I don't think that it's a sound step taken by the government or the administration. We must be having a firm and a firm decision, and we force our ultimately the police force and administration has a big power to utilize that in such circumstances. And if we are not utilizing the power, we should have we should have a proper arrangement there, and that that process should be allowed, and that religious function should be continued to allowed. And moreover, also there is a system in police that to increase the communal harmony, that both these communities should be put together, they should be talked about it, and there should be a unanimous consensus, and that there should not be any disturbance, should not be any violence.